The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the gricklegrass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is a street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the gricklegrass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why is it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town, where the gricklegrass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in the lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss him 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole, and his groveless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone for the secrets I tell you for ears alone. Slup! Down slips the whisper my phone to your ear, and the Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space. One morning I came into this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the trifla trees, the bright colored tufts of the trifla trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffaloo fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffalo trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a trifla tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with a great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I kneed it at the need. The instant I finished, I heard a gazap. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak from the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffle tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need, and needs to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who will buy that full need. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along. and he thought that the need I knitted was great. He happily bought it for $39.8. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and no one in time at all. Built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, because here's a wonderful chance for the Wensler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road north niche. Turn left up Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, and the whole Wensler family was working full of tilt. We were all knitting needs, just as busy as beads, to the sound of chopping of truffalo trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Not chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffalo trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you've seen me chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of the brown babaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffalo fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffalo fruit to go around. And my poor baby barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They shall find food, and I hope they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them the way. I, the Wensler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must go, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads. Of the needs I snapped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came with more gripes. I'm the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffled. He sneezed and snuffled. He snargled, he sniffed. Wensler, he cried with a cruffless croak. Wensler, you're making such smokeless smoke. My poor swoomy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And also, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have the fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs day and night without stop, make gluppity-glup, also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Wensler man, you. You're glupping the pond where the humming fish hum. No one can say the hum, for the gills are all gum. So I'm sending them off on their future's jury. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yip yap and say, bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my right, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffle trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack. The axe on a tree, then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffalo tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. and gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hesitated himself, took leave of his place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you causes an awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, Ketch calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffle of seed. It's the last one of all. You're in the charge of the last truffle of seeds, and truffle of trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffle, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.